College football is back, and I am super excited to be making this video. We got a little bit of a different setup, and I hope it works out better for everybody. So, hopefully, you guys can enjoy that. But we got some big games in week zero. It's one of the week zero slates I've looked forward to the most. We got Power Four on Power Four matchups, conference matchups in the Power Four. Maybe the biggest game, though, is not even in the Power Four when it comes to playoff implications. We also get two teams beginning their FBS journey on Saturday. I am super stoked for it. Now we're going to be uploading this probably around midnight on Friday. So going into Friday. So this is going to be very interesting to see your guys' feedback, but I would appreciate any sort of feedback, a like, a comment. Certainly do that and subscribe if you want more content. Anyway, let's get into everything with this week. We are going to preview all 8 games, and I'm going to come back with a play of the week as far as a betting perspective goes. North Carolina TCU. Look, Steve Belichick, medical leave, prayers out to him, man. I mean, that's really tough to hear. I have an immense amount of respect for Steve Belichick and the kind of resume he's built up on his own. He really learned from his pops because it shows on the football field. Really good defenses. What is North Carolina's attack plan without it? There's a reason why that line continues to move forward. It might be up to 10 on some books right now. 9.5-point favorite is the TCU Horned Frogs at this very moment. Now, TCU, I really like. Gordon Samus coming in from UConn. That is a big deal right there. I think that he's going to be able to enable the run game. I think he can work well with Sonny Dykes, but the question is kind of how are those two styles or philosophies on offensive football kind of going to clash? It could go really well, also could go very negative. Jaden Craig, I'm very high on. I'm very high on Jaden Craig. I've talked about it on the Oh Hello podcast, and I really think that Jaden Craig could be a breakout player in the Big 12 that not too many people are talking about. People are starting to come around to it. You watch his film at Harvard. His arm talent's a little bit different. He's got an NFL arm, and he was an NFL prospect. He transferred over here to try to improve that draft stock. Now, he rewrote record books at Harvard, and now he goes over to TCU with more talent around him, but playing more talent on a week-to-week basis. Both defenses, I think, are very veteran. Abu Jaudy is a player to watch for in this. 10.5 sacks, very disruptive edge rusher for North Carolina. I think that they will have a very solid plan for Gordon Samus in this run offense. So it's going to come down to Jaden Craig needing to make enough plays. I think that throughout the game, North Carolina is going to try to lean on the run game. Jordan Shipp is back, but you're breaking in a new starter with a new offense coordinator and Billy Edwards and Bobby Petrino. Now, it's the same way the other way around, but I don't think that combo has the potential to be nearly as lethal as the TCU combo on the other side. So I'm not as confident, and maybe I'm just not a buyer in Billy Edwards Jr. as much as I am Jaden Craig. I think that they're going to lean on the run game. I don't know if they're going to be able to consistently run the ball against this TCU front. This TCU front is very veteran, and look, North Carolina's front is very veteran too. I kind of like the under in this game. I'm very torn on the spread, but I'm going to take TCU to win. I might take North Carolina to cover, but I'm ultimately pretty confident that TCU is going to be the better team and prevail in this Dublin, Ireland matchup. Moving on. USC, San Jose State, and I kind of had a boost in audio there, so I apologize for that, but USC, San Jose State, obviously USC is going to win this game. Now, what their offense looks like is going to be very fun. They're going to score a lot of points like they usually do in these types of situations. They score 50 plus more often than not against these G6 teams, especially the ones that aren't that high quality, and let's be quite frank, Ken Niumatalolo had a very disappointing season last year. And what they did in the offseason, there is no real reason to be super optimistic that that improves. You have Luke Weaver coming in from Hawaii. He's got kind of limited experience, had to come in at spots and times for Micah Alejado, and he made some plays when he was in, to be fair, but I just don't know if he's in as friendly of a system to go ahead and plug in and be great and score a lot of points on a team as talented as USC. I'm expecting for USC to cover this. I think that they're going to score over 50 points. I'm taking USC to dominate in this game. It will be fun, though, to lay eyes on the top 15 team who's a playoff contender. Shifting gears here, you got Virginia, who went to the ACC championship last year, was an overtime short of making the college football playoff. They had to replace their quarterback. They had to replace a little bit. I love their continuity on defense. I love what NC State has on defense, but I'm not sure if I love it for this game. You're breaking in 3 new linebackers and a new defensive coordinator. They're all veteran linebackers, but the very curious spot for NC State in this game is going to be, how does that mesh? How do 3 experienced veteran linebackers working with a brand new defense coordinator? None of them played under the defensive coordinator. And pardon me for drawing a blank on his name. I should have wrote it down. I just wrote new DC, new linebackers. But the bottom line is this. How does that all mesh together? This is something that could be a strength for NC State later in the season, but it's not a strength now. I am leaning more towards the NC State cover. CJ Bailey is like that guy that everybody's whispering about from a national perspective. Hey, that guy at NC State, yeah, that CJ Bailey kid, he's really good. But Terrell Anderson out the door, Noah Rogers out the door, Justin Jolie, the tight end, out the door, Hollywood Smothers out the door. Do they have good enough replacements at those skill position spots? I'm going to be very curious about that. I'm going to take Virginia to win, but NC State to cover. I think that this is a down-to-the-wire game, and I'm just going to trust Virginia in another close game. But close games, close game teams from a year before who have success, they may trickle backwards, and that's a worry about Virginia and the ACC. Jacksonville State is going on the road to North Dakota State. This is the first home game for North Dakota State. At last check, the spread was hovering around 6.5 or 7. North Dakota State was not the side I was on initially, but I'm going to sell you on why North Dakota State is the right side of this line at -7. I look more into this, and Jacksonville State, look, I still think they're going to be really solid. I think that they're a Conference USA championship contender, but you're talking about Caden Creel back, Charles Kelly back. That's all fine and dandy. Losing Cam Cook was a big hit. Now, they're still going to be able to run the ball. Don't get it twisted. They're going to be able to run the ball. But you lose the nation's top rusher, and you lose your offensive coordinator Trickett to West Virginia. How exactly does that look for Jacksonville State here? I'm going to be very curious to see how that can travel. I think that their defense is going to be pretty solid and be able to hold up. First-time starter who got experience, but Nathan Hayes, you know, if he's got any sort of weaknesses, which he definitely does, it's just what exactly they are, Tim Polasek in this North Dakota State program do a good job of disguising weaknesses of quarterbacks. That's how you get Trey Lance drafted 3rd overall. Unnecessary dig. But the point is this is going to be a team still predicated on running the football with a pro-style rushing attack and being able to lean on that. DJ Scott, really good running back, showed a lot of flashes, expecting an uptick in production here. Woolen, the defensive back for North Dakota State, really good player. I am excited to watch him. He's very versatile, very good in run fits, and is able to come into the box and pop people. But he's also got the versatility where he can cover pretty well too. And I do like the interior of this North Dakota State team. I think as time goes along in this game, North Dakota State's going to start pulling away with that home environment lit as all get out behind their back. I think North Dakota State wins and covers. And that's a change, by the way. A week ago, I would have told you Jacksonville State covers. Eastern Michigan, -9.5 against Sacramento State. Alonzo Carter, he's going to bring his team over to the FBS level. And they are really they have been trying for a few years. I'll put it this way. They've been trying for a few years to try to gain respect and get up to this level. And eventually, they just kind of had to make it happen. And that's what they did. I just don't know if they're ready for this level of football. Look, Jamar Curtis, I believe, is a really good running back. I don't know if they can consistently get stops against Eastern Michigan. Eastern Michigan's going to run the ball, but Noah Kim is a veteran quarterback that they're bringing back as well. Chris Creighton, you know, he's not great as a favorite, but I do really like this Eastern Michigan squad in this game, considering the type of leadership that they have specifically at the quarterback position and the fact that they're catching a team 3 time zones away in the first game. That's a pretty tough trip for Sacramento State. Give me Eastern Michigan minus 9.5 in this game. Hawaii on the road at Stanford. This game was very fun a year ago. You take a look at the Stanford Cardinal. They leaned on the run game a lot, and they're probably going to have to again. They don't have a quality tight end like Sam Roush to help in the run game, but also be basically like the only dynamic threat in the receiving game. That's what they had. Now, they do have veteran leadership on the defensive side of the ball that I think is going to be pretty decent. And when you look at the Hawaii side of things, you lose Jackson Harris and Pofele Ashlock is hurt. So what are you going to do at the wide receiver position? I think that at a certain extent, Hawaii's maybe going to have to slow down the pace of the game. And just like last year, give themselves a chance late. Micah Alejado is a quarterback I really like. I'm a very big fan of him. He can really spin that rock. He fits in this style of offense very perfectly. But ultimately, the X factor is going to be how well does that defense hold up against the Stanford run game. They kind of got pushed around for most of the game last year. I'm optimistic that that won't happen again with all of the leadership and veterans that they bring back. But I think that that could be a way that this game kind of gets away from Hawaii. Therefore, I am going to take Stanford. I'm just kidding. I hate Stanford. I can't stand Stanford. Andrew Luck is making all these mistakes over here. Davis Warren is your quarterback? Seriously? That's disgusting. I'm taking Hawaii to win this game. I don't even care. I'm taking Hawaii to win the game. I don't feel great about it, but I'm going to take Hawaii. I trust Hawaii more. Period. Plain simple. New Mexico State going on the road to Florida State. New Mexico State's a mess. They're a mess. They did not handle the whole Jerry Kill quasi-retirement and Beck and Pavia leaving, Stowers leaving. They didn't handle that transition very well. Now, they weren't horrible last season. They were relatively competitive, but really it was just like an offensive style that I was not a big fan of. Parker Awad was not somebody who inspired me last season, and Tony Sanchez is just not a coach that inspires me. Now, on the flip side, I think this is where Florida State has the big advantage in this game. They have speed. They have talent. Wisner and Chroma are really good as far as running back duos go. Ashton Daniels is a dual threat quarterback, and I'm curious to see if he can have a level up this year, but certainly in this game, it should appear that way. And you got Deuce Robinson, Mekhi Danzy as two dynamic playmakers out wide that I really like, and a lot of people are all over Deuce Robinson. Some people know about Mekhi Danzy, and specifically from the Alabama game. Look, he's got track speed, game-breaking speed. I mean, let's not sugarcoat this. Florida State should cover this game. They should win by more than 30.5. They should win by close to 40. So I'm going to take Florida State to cover. Don't feel amazing about it. And final game. I apologize for messing up the conferences, but everything else on this slide should be good. We got Memphis and UNLV. The game I am the most excited about here. UNLV is going to kind of have a two-quarterback system. Now, part of that two-quarterback system is Alex Orji is going to be used a little bit more in short yardage. The thing I'm wondering about is if Jackson Arnold is supposed to have the level up that he is that really necessary? Because mobility with Jackson Arnold was really not that much of a concern each of the last 2 years. It was everything else. Jaden Thomas is a really good running back. I do really like him. I think that their offense is still going to be pretty explosive. I don't think it's going to be the same level that we have seen in years past. Now let's flip gears to Memphis. This is the most talented roster that Charles Huff has ever had. And he brought over some of the best pieces that he had at Southern Miss, who, let's face it, if it wasn't for injuries down the stretch of the season, would have been playing in the Sun Belt Conference Championship. Immediate year flip. He's a better coach than Ryan Silverfield, and he has a lot of the talent that Ryan Silverfield had. I think that Memphis goes on the road and wins this game, and I'm feeling pretty good about it. I like Memphis a lot. I like Charles Huff a lot, and maybe this is just me not being a fan of the style of play of UNLV. Now, I will say this, it's not like I hate Dan Mullen. It's not like I hate UNLV. I'm happy that UNLV is good at football. There's just something about their style of play that's unappeasing to me. I'm going to take the Memphis Tigers to win this game. All right, well, we got one more thing to give you. I'm going to give play of the week here in college football. Look, It depends on what you're looking at as far as spreads go. As far as what you think the play of the week is, I ultimately think you should do some sort of combination of TCU money line with the under and boost that up. I marked down TCU money line, boosted the under to 53. That's what I ended up doing. I think that that is the easiest lock and best play of the week with odds that are lower than minus 150. I think that's a good hit, a good way to start the season. We're going to be tracking our record in these segments every single week. We're going to hope to start 1-0. We're going to hope to be 15-0 by the time conference championships end. But that'll do it for me. Make sure you guys enjoy your college football weekend.